Alright, so we're in our new unit. It's Unit 7, Chapter 7, Nomenclature. Alright, nomenclature is just a really fancy word for, oh, that didn't work, naming. Naming. Alright, and nomenclature is not specific to science, alright, that word. You could use nomenclature for the nomenclature of the presidents, where you name off all the presidents. You could do the nomenclature of pies at Thanksgiving, where you name off all the pies you had at Thanksgiving. Alright, but we're going to do the nomenclature of chemical formulas. Chemical formulas. Because we're going to name chemical formulas. Alright, so nomenclature of chemical formulas. Alright, we good? Alright, so we have 5 types of chemical formulas that we're going to name. Alright, so the first one we're going to name is binary ionic. The second one we're going to name is ionic with a transition metal. Third one is ionic with a polyatomic ion. And does that look familiar? Yeah, because that's how we learned how to write formulas. We did binary ionic, just metal, non-metal. Then we threw in ionic with transition metals. Then we threw in polyatomic ions. Now we're naming those types. So after we learn those 3, we're going to stop and take a quiz. And it's going to be a 60-point quiz. So how many points for each type? Probably 20, right? 20 points for each type. So 60-point quiz there. Then we'll continue and we'll do covalent, which is very different from our ionic. Then we'll do acids, which is the only new thing because we've talked about all of these already. Then we'll take another quiz. And that one will be 40 points. So combined, how many points is that? 100. So we're not taking a full test for this unit. I used to just go straight through, teach all 5 types, and then give a test. But it's so many different things to remember. Individually, they're not bad. Once you put them all together, it's a lot of different rules to remember. And some students still do really well, but some students, it's just so much to remember. So last trimester, I split it up, and I did ionic, a quiz, and then I did covalent acids, because they're very similar, a quiz, and students were a lot more successful. And I like doing it that way, and so I'm going to do it that way again. So 2 quizzes that will combine be like a 100-point test grade. Now, what do these quizzes look like? Well, I'll give you the name. You got to find the formula. So for ionic, that's just crossing charges. It's exactly what we've been doing. It's what you did on the quiz that you just took at the beginning of class. So we've already done that. All right? So half of it is writing formulas. The other half is I give you the formula, you write the name. That's all your test is. There's no multiple choice. There's no doing anything else. It's just formula writing and name writing. That's all. Okay? So this isn't going to take long. So we will probably test before spring break because we only have 2 weeks till spring break. Yes. Oh, I thought you had a question. All right? So that's how this next couple weeks will go. And then if we have extra days, we'll just throw some labs in. Okay? All right, so for today, we're going to do type 1, which is binary ionic. All right, so type 1, binary ionic. All right, so number 1, or to name. Let's put that, to name. Because we already know how to find the formulas. We look up their charges, we cross them, we put the positive first, we reduce subscripts. We know how to find formulas. We've been doing this, okay? So the new part is the naming part. All right, so to name these, number 1, we're going to name the metal.
Can't go tonight.
Name the metal.
What do y'all want?
Okay.
I have no idea.
All right, number 1, name the metal. So we never change any part of a metal's name. Doesn't matter if there's a number after it, like K subscript 3, we would just call it potassium. All right, we never change any part of a metal's name. So we just name our metal. And then after that, we have our non-metal. So we're going to name the non-metal with the suffix. And where do suffixes go? In the front or at the end? The end. We're going to add the suffix ide, I-D-E. So for example, if I had K3P, all right, what's my metal? Potassium. So I name it potassium. All right, and what's my non-metal?
Phosphorus.
Yep, phosphorus would become phosphide. Phosphide. So the name, potassium phosphide. And that's it. Now, when it comes to these non-metals, we need to know where do we cut the name off and add ide in. So we're going to go through all, I think there's 15 non-metals, and do that now because you're going to be doing that for 4 of the 5 types. All right, so we need to just write it down now so that we don't have to reference it again. You'll have it in your notes and you can always look back and say, okay, if I got to change selenium, I know where to drop off the ending and add ide, okay? So we're going to go through all the non-metals. All right, so these are all the anions, all the non-metals. There's only 15 of them, I think. We're going to write them all down. Maybe 14. I can't remember. All right, so first one is hydrogen. Now, hydrogen won't be an ionic bonding, but we'll go ahead and write it because we'll have to do this for covalent bonding too. So hydrogen becomes hydride. Not hydroxide, because what's hydroxide's formula? OH, what charge? -1. When's your quiz? Tomorrow. Make sure you're studying. All right, then we hop over here. Our next non-metal is carbon, becomes carbide. Carbide. Isn't there like a factory around here that's got carbide in the name? Or am I making this up? Maybe. I'm thinking of something.
There's cars.
I'm thinking of something else. All right, there's silicone becomes silicide, not silicide. We don't say silicone, we say silicone, so it's silicide. All right, nitrogen becomes nitride. Phosphorus, we said, becomes phosphide. Arsenic becomes arsenide. Oxygen becomes oxide. And sulfur becomes sulfide. Selenium becomes selenide with one L, selenide. Oh, I know what I was thinking. Tungsten carbide is a popular choice of wedding rings for men. Because it's cheaper and you cannot cut through it. Not at all. Fun fact. Okay, anyways. Tellurium is telluride, which is a third row Kia SUV. 3 people in my last period said their parents had tellurides. Fluorine becomes fluoride. So that's what's in your toothpaste.
That's what helps you get your teeth white.
If you go to the dentist, they put like fluoride on your teeth before you leave.
Bro, that stuff be tasting so weird.
Yep. Chlorine becomes chloride. Bromine becomes bromide, the alternate version of a bromance. Your bromide. It's like when you're best friends in science. You're a bromide. Iodine becomes iodide. And astatine becomes astatide.
Is that the last one?
Yep, that's the last one. That's all. How many are there? Count them.
That's like 17.
1, 2, 3.
15.
That's another thing we gotta remember.
15.
But we've been writing for 10 years.
15. I was right. So now you have them all. Now you can know exactly where to cut them off. So, let's start off with a few practice ones. Don't say them out loud yet. Alright, who wants to try the first one up there? Alright, Dusk. Magnesium iodide. Perfect. Connor, the second one. Beryllium nitride. Perfect. Izzy, the next one. Sodium chloride. Yes, sodium chloride, which that's our table salt, right? Sodium chloride. And the last one, Riley? Cesium selenide. So do the subscripts matter? No, you just name the metal, name the non-metal with the suffix "ide." Okay? Alright, so let me give you your worksheet.
How many questions?
15 and 20. Just kidding. But you don't even have to do all 20. Yes, turn it off. See how I always